Jeffrey said, I'm Jonathan, and I'm the Director of Developer Relations. And so for the last few years, I've had the pleasure of working with a really vibrant community of developers that have been incredibly generous with their time and their code, and have donated, I guess, let's see, I think we're around 500 plugins across all of our products now. And so it's been great working with all those guys. And excuse me. But every now and then we've run across a plugin that really excites us. And about a year ago, there was a gentleman in Florida named Ryan Ackley who had put up his first Confluence plugin for sale. And out of those 500 plugins I mentioned, there are a handful that are commercial. Things like Glyphy, which allows you to do online diagrams. There's one called Grid that lets you do online spreadsheets. And then Ryan joined that group with his Office Connector plugin. And so we got in touch with Ryan and said, we're really excited about your work, how are things going? He had had some success in selling his plugin to our customer base, and so we decided to talk more about working more closely together. So, as Scott mentioned earlier, what the Office Connector allows you to do is basically create Confluence documents or Confluence pages out of Word documents. You can just upload a Word document, it will translate it into wiki markup and save it to the page. And then once you've got a wiki page, you can have, through the Office Connector, you can have some people edit it using Microsoft Word. And so, again, Scott mentioned this lets Confluence become sort of more friendly, more usable to people who are very used to using Microsoft tools. And so it expands the reach of the wiki to other parts of the organization that might not ordinarily see it. So we eventually ended up acquiring Ryan's company. He's moved from Florida to Sydney. He got there about a month ago, and he's working closely with the Confluence team. And so with Confluence 2.9, we announced our first availability of the official Atlassian Office Connector. And we're going to continue to expand that with Confluence 2.10 and 3.0. And one of the features that Ryan added in the last few months is the ability to work with things other than Word documents, things like PowerPoint and Excel spreadsheets. So Ryan did a great demo of this for us, so I'm going to play the demo. It's about 3 minutes long, and then afterwards, if you guys have any questions about how it works, I'd be happy to answer them. But let me get that queued up. Sorry guys, no technical difficulties.
The Office Connector takes Microsoft Office, integrates it with Confluence, so you can share information and interact with other people. In the first example, I'm going to show you how Microsoft Word has become an extension of Confluence. The Office Connector adds this new option in the tools menu called Edit in Word. Once you click on it, Microsoft Word is launched directly from your web browser. Once inside of Word, you can add any content you want to appear in Confluence. For example, headings, lists, tables, formatted text. Then simply click the Save button, and this content is put directly back into Confluence. If we switch over to Confluence, hit the refresh button, you can see the new content that we've created. You can also convert existing documents using the Office Connector. You may have Word documents you've already created, and you feel like the information inside them has been trapped on your hard drive. The Office Connector allows you to free those documents by importing them into Confluence. For my example, I'm going to use this document I found on the internet. It's just a large Word document, a typical enterprise document. I can upload it into Confluence using the Office Connector. One thing the Office Connector allows me to do is take a larger document and split it up into smaller pieces when I import it. So it's in multiple wiki pages, easier to maintain and share. So as you can see on import, I have the table of contents, it's preserved. If I click on one of the links, it'll take me to the appropriate page. You can see the images, the lists, everything that was imported with the document. The Office Connector isn't just about Word. You can also view and update other types of Office documents from within Confluence. So for example, let's say I had a presentation attached to this page that I wanted to share with others, get their feedback, or collaborate with them on. I would have to just add this macro to the page called View File Macro, pointing to my presentation. Click the Save button. And the contents of that presentation would be embedded directly into my Confluence page. I can now preview it. And let's say I see something I want to change. All I'd have to do is click the Edit button. PowerPoint will be launched directly from Confluence, and I can make any changes I need to make. And once I'm done making those changes, all I have to do is press the Save button, and it's saved directly back into Confluence. And now if I hit the refresh button, I can see those changes. Wikis are strongest when they incorporate everyone in an organization. So the Office Connector was built to embrace those who don't necessarily use Microsoft tools. This is a demonstration of it running on Ubuntu Linux with Firefox and OpenOffice. So here is an Excel spreadsheet embedded in my Confluence page using the View File macro. I can click on that title bar to edit it. It'll open an OpenOffice. Here is OpenOffice Calc, the chart. If I switch back, you can see that it's the same chart. I'll add a data line to this chart for 2005. I'll save it. And you can see the new data line. And if we go back to the Confluence page and hit refresh, you can see the change reflected on the page. And there is the chart with the new data line. The Office Connector will bring new people to your wiki who may not have previously participated, because now they can contribute rich new content by using tools that they're familiar with.
And that's how it works. So that's really what I wanted to show you today. Is there any, are there any questions that I can answer? Yes?
Is there any sort of a mass import?
No, not right now. I mean, except for the fact that, as you saw in the demo, you can upload one large document and split it up into multiple wiki pages. But as far as like uploading a whole directory, we don't offer that yet.
There used to be a couple of ways that you can plug into Word, and one of them, it was something you put in Word itself. So it's like plug into Word to make it work.
Yes, I remember that.
Is that sort of a thing? Do you do anything to the Word?
No, you don't. So basically, the technology-wise, it depends on WebDAV and the same sorts of Word editing capabilities that work with SharePoint. So basically, it's all on the server side, and Word is able to handle it without extra things.
Great.
Yes.
You mentioned about being able to import a document into multiple wiki pages.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do the inverse of that and export multiple wiki pages into a single document and maintain the order of chapters?
No, not that I'm pretty sure that you can't do that right now. So as you go back and edit through the method that you saw here, you're editing one page that you're looking at, and then of course you can do PDF exports of multiple pages, but that's a core Confluence feature that's been around for a while. Yes.
We currently use the shared Confluence, the hosted one.
Mm-hmm.
When do you plan on having that actually go live with that change?
Well, so we have no plans for that right now. It's not that I know of. I haven't spoken with the hosted guys, but my guess is that given that it depends on WebDAV, they may be reluctant to open it up in a hosted environment. But I don't have any direct information about that right now. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you do link? Are you putting wiki?
So you can do it either way. You can have wiki markup.
What was the question?
Oh, I'm sorry. The question is, how do you do links inside these documents? So if there are general web links such that Microsoft Word would recognize, and those are also translated into web links once it's uploaded as a wiki page, just as if you type in http://Google. And if you put in the wiki markup for links, then it'll get translated. And Word won't know anything about those, but once you've uploaded it to the wiki will recognize those as links. Yes?
Do they do PowerPoint animations and all the spiffy slides and?
So we use a conversion library that we've gotten from a commercial partner, and it's pretty complete. I'm not going to swear it does everything, but I think it does it does at least some of those transitions. Yes.
Do you see this changing the way we use tables as opposed to Excel?
Can
We
you
use
elaborate that a little bit
Excel.
more?
We use Excel a lot outside this environment. Inside, we find ourselves writing simple WML tables. Do you think does your Excel support change that in any way? Do you think we'll find Excel more useful?
So the question is, does this Excel capability change the way that we use, I guess, change the split between tables in a wiki page and Excel for more complicated content?
Yeah.
And I think that, obviously the biggest benefit of the wiki in general is the ability to collaborate. And so there are frequently times that I find that I need to collaborate with my colleagues around spreadsheet type data. So we have a couple of solutions for this. The Office Connector is one good one, especially when you have existing Excel content that you mostly need to publish rather than sort of develop in a collaborative environment. We also have another plugin from another partner called EditGrid that is a fully online JavaScript-based spreadsheet. And I find that I use that a lot here at Atlassian. You can embed an editable spreadsheet in the page that way. And of course, simple tables are also useful for playing with the markup.
What was the name of that?
The other option is it's called EditGrid.
Oh, EditGrid. Okay.
Yes.
Second question. Any future Microsoft projects?
So there frequently over the course of the last few years, there have been people who have asked for Microsoft Project and Jira integrations. There is one now. There's a commercial partner who has built a Microsoft Project Jira integration. As we've looked at this in the past, apparently Microsoft Project is difficult to work with from a programmatic and from an API standpoint, and difficult to plug into. So we've never taken that step ourselves. We have no immediate plans to do anything with that Compose, but I would point you to the Jira plugin, and those guys actually might be interested in doing a Compose one in the future. Yes.
How about Google Docs and Confluence? Is that in the works or available?
So our first step to anything like that was obviously the Google sign-on piece that we mentioned earlier in the briefing. So that's going to open up, even inside Atlassian, a whole sort of new realm of interaction. We may find that something that we want to integrate as we use it more ourselves. But no development works. Yes?
Do you know if this would work with pretty much any version of Linux, or does it not?
The operating system is less, I think, important than the editor. So we've done testing with OpenOffice in sort of the most common, most recent versions, and it seems to work pretty well. I won't vouch for every obscure combination, but it is certainly a goal that it works well with OpenOffice. In the back.
You support all major browsers?
It supports Firefox, and there's still some kinks to work out with Safari that we haven't done yet.
You have an add-on for Firefox? Is that how it works?
No. As far as I remember, that doesn't require anything extra. It just works out of the box. Yes.
How much is it?
Oh, so I'm sorry. I should have mentioned that the Office Connector is free. Yes.
Is it a supported part of the product?
So right now the Office Connector is a separate download. It is supported, and we hope that as we make the integration tighter, it will become part of the product in the future. Yes?
One of the things that we have a number of documents that are very easy. Their life cycle is as Word documents, which might convert to wiki pages. Much of that I prefer to see that happen. However, if you test several attachments to a page, now the free file thing doesn't really test for what you really need. You might be able to access those and add those attachments as attachments to the attachments page. And I have a hack that does that, but doesn't work very nice. But that's really what we would like to have gotten out of this for our current main usage. This is quite a realistic way of doing that.
So basically you want the same sort of click to edit version from the attachments page that we demonstrated with the wiki page here. That certainly makes sense. It's a good feature request and something that we are looking at.
The other thing that we noticed is that the latest versions of the web dev plugins that are out there don't work. You have to go back 3 revisions to do all the pre-release. But in order to to get one that actually doesn't open it as read-only. I would have thought that you would have updated that or flagged that or something.
We've actually, okay, so the question was about some of the problems with the more recent versions of the WebDAV plugin. We've been hard at work on a new version of the WebDAV plugin for several months. It has been one of our most sort of problematic plugins. Working with WebDAV turned out to be more complicated than we had initially predicted. So we went back to the drawing board. We started with a fresh architecture. We're depending on some open source projects that were not available when we wrote the first WebDAV plugin. And I'm hoping that we will announce a version 2 in the near future that should solve a lot of those issues.
If you could please, market the plugin repository as not being compatible or flag it in some way. It took me an entire iteration to remember that I had already learned this a year ago, or whatever it was, and back out to the older version. It was difficult to look at and issue clearly.
Yeah, excellent point. We'll make sure we take care of that.